Trey gonna be that old guy in sandals and khakis with a belt.
I've been saying this for how long now?
I can't step outside naked.
We jumped into the river.
What did you do? Did you run
I
along
jumped
the river
in.
bank?
I let autocorrect make me look stupid on Facebook every day. With Luxembourg. I can't do it.
It's Luxembourg.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. That's what they all say.
You trying to get me to hump, do the hump and something.
Ah!
Oh, look at you, girl.
I said it's too early.
Sexual tracking app on it. And it found that
Who is actually using that? Welcome home, gentlemen from the 4th Infantry Division, 4th ID.
Yeah, I think he was trying to be funny, but it kind of escalated.
I think he was trying to hit her on a discount. Oh! Money.
We used to listen to FM, but they played the same old
Yeah.
Good morning, America.
Wakey, wakey, bakey, bakey.
Dude, I got to tell you guys, there is nothing better than coming back on a radio show and being like, or a talk show, and the first instrumental to kick Scotty is I got hoes in different area codes. And, you know, we really got like fans, not hoes, in different area codes. So it really moves me. If you like my gangsta walk, Scotty's going to be doing he's doing gang court beef, believe it or not. So, I mean, it's fitting. It's like we need a little Nate Dogg in our life this morning. By the way, it is the Wake and Bake America show. We're back from spring break, if that's what you want to call it. The world continued to decide to continue to fall apart during our break, but we'll talk about that. What do we got coming up on the show today? Well, of course, we got Stump the Stoner. Stumping Idiots is her game. Cammie is her name. You know what's going down on the show today. Also, we got Mary Jane Monday, some late night antics over the weekend. Had some things going down in New York concerning cannabis. A 5-year-old threatened to be beaten by police after being arrested and detained. That's your story, Cammie. Have fun with that one. Of course, we're going to break down the latest on the Deshaun Watson case, but instead of discussing Deshaun Watson, we're going to talk about the reality is whether the women are lying, whether the men are lying, whether anyone's lying or telling the truth. The reality is that there is an unspoken wrongful idealism behind massage therapists and what their real job is. We're also going to get into a bunch of other stuff, but first, before we can break down anything, let's get right to Scottie Pippen and the coronavirus by the numbers. We're going to take a quick look at infections. And Scotty, if you can pull up the virus, the vaccinated numbers, because last I heard it was like 60 million, and I know it's more than that now. This is all powered by?
Look, are you printing stuff because brand recognition matters?
Uh-huh.
The next time you need anything printed, just visit sicktees.com.
Okay.
For the best in printing, remember SIKTEEZ.com.
So, Scottie Pippen. Right now, coronavirus death toll, coronavirus vaccines, I think we're kind of in obviously anybody can see a graph and see that it's drastically decreased the number of new infections, right? We can all see a hump go down, right? And even the deaths have dropped from when we're looking at a daily amount, but that won't ever impact the whole number in the U.S. at all, ever again, because you can't bring those people back. So, Scotty, what are we looking at from deaths, vaccines, sickness? What's the skinny on coronavirus, buddy?
Well, I'll tell you what, we had some very exciting dips, new cases back on March 21st.
So are you saying when I dip,
as low as 34,000, something like that. So, you know, we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here. As of yesterday, there's 45,000 new cases. When we look at deaths, the same thing, you know, it correlates. So we had a really good, we had a really good dip back March 21st. We had 444 deaths. That's it. Beautiful sight, right? We want it to be a lot lower, though.
In comparison to what we've seen, 549,000 Americans were about to hit 50,000 at some time within the next day or two. That's the part that's still a tough pill to swallow, is we've lost over 500,000 Americans. You know what's weird is when I said we could lose 250,000 to 500,000, maybe even 1 million Americans, when I said that way back in like February when no one was taking that shit serious, in February 2020 when I was saying that, I was hoping that I was just talking out my ass like any other day. Like I really was. I really was hoping that I was just spouting off journalistic bullshit at the mouth like usual and be wrong. I've never felt worse about being right, guys. Like, because I know that that's a lot of people. That's my whole town off the face of the earth, right there. That's my whole town right there. About 500,000 people gone.
Right. So as of March 23rd, we had 1,707,293 people vaccinated.
That's good.
So those are the numbers we want to see keep going up.
Yeah, I actually am up for my vaccine. I didn't even know I had a pre-existing condition until I went and looked. That's why I called you, Scotty. I was like, bro, we're more messed up than we realize.
Yeah, I qualify too. I'm going to wait to talk to the surgeon tomorrow to make sure that's a good idea to do it before the surgery.
Because you're going to hit. I honestly believe they are going to tell you absolutely yes. Because even with one vaccine, you still have about half the protection. If you're getting the 2 shot. If it's a one and done, then I don't see why they would tell you no. Now, again, I'm not a doctor.
Don't know what kind of studies they have.
Exactly. And
actually, putting people to sleep and all that.
Right. And I am personally not a doctor. Okay, people? I played a doctor on a show once that doesn't get to count as much as I wish it did, though. I really do. I wish I just, like, any role I ever played on a show, I wish it just, like, made me like that person. That'd be dope, right? I mean, that'd be pretty cool. like I played a doctor and all of a sudden I knew doctor shit. That'd be tight. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, who doesn't want that X-Men power? Come on. So anyway, see, MMR DNA.
So keep doing what you're doing, folks.
Yeah, and change my DNA to knowing doctor shit.
Our numbers are dipping.
Right. So, at the end of the day, though, that's the important part. All jokes aside, we are seeing the obvious effects of what happens when you start to get to a vaccine-forced herd immunity. Because what people didn't realize is the minute some people started getting sick again, and as the coronavirus circulated and came full circle a year, you started to see some people that got it early on getting it again. And so when you think about that, you have to have a little concern and go, okay, well, then obviously it's going to be like the flu. See, I love how people go, it's just like the flu. And I go, so we're going to need an updated vaccine every year or two? No, wait, no. Wait, but you said it was just like the flu. You said it. Well, the flu mutates, and that's why we get boosters every year. Because the flu that we get today isn't even the fucking flu we got 10 years ago, or 4 years ago for that matter. So
right, and even worse is the people that are saying that Dr. Fauci wrote a study back in the day about how maskers were getting buried by non-maskers, which we're going to touch on that tomorrow. I'm gonna tear the little article up that these Trumplicans are all over.
Scotty, I got to tell you, it was a tough spring break. We all three have a What's Got Mr. Trey, What's Got Cammy Renee, and What's Got Scotty Pimpin' turned up articles tomorrow. We all three have our own. So usually it's just me that goes ham shit, but it's been a long spring break apparently. Y'all didn't even come back with what got y'all turned the fuck up when we came back from Christmas break. Must have had a good Christmas. Didn't have a good spring break though, did you? All right, so let's do this. Matter of fact, since you're bringing up Dr. Britex, Dr. Fauci, the doctors that were on the bridge of the ship of the USS Enterprise America. Anyway, no, seriously. Let's get to the Trey and the Triple Headlines brought to you by my Triple Play man, the guy I go to for gifts and everything, the Root of All Woodworks. That's right. It's never a bad time for a great handcrafted gift idea. That's why you should check out the Root of All Woodworks. It's on Facebook and Instagram. The Root of All Woodworks on Facebook. On Instagram, you can find them by putting an underscore between each word. You get it? Underscore, root, underscore, of, underscore. You get it. So, check out the Root of All Woodworks on social media and get your wood worked today. That has to be his slogan. I've told him that.
Terrible.
I've told him that. It has to be your slogan. Get your wood worked today. Get your wood worked today. So anyway, let's talk about let's talk about some of the doctors. And, honestly, Scotty, you brought up Dr. Fauci, and that is actually a perfect segue into what I'm going to be bringing up this morning as one of the headlines, as something that got me a little turned up that couldn't wait until tomorrow. And also, I already had a story for what's got Mr. Dre turned up tomorrow, so I brought this one in the headlines. So it is what it is. So, but Dr. Fauci and Dr. Britex were really known early on in the pandemic, and Dr. Bricks were early on as sort of America's two doctors, America's mom and dad doctors, taking on the virus, yada, yada, yada. Well, Cammie and I were listening to parts of Dr. Brix's interview this morning that she did all in a new CNN documentary. And, one of the people that spoke after some clips were played said something that stuck with me. And I actually pulled the story this morning on Rando because I wanted to bring this up, that they make a valid point. Said, look, She's like, I sat there, I did what I had to do to stay on deck. I wanted to say something, but that's my problem. That's exactly the problem with the FDA. That's exactly the problem with this situation. Is this was a politically appointed doctor, so she didn't feel like she could say what she needed to be or what needed to be said until her boss wasn't there no more. And I'll give her credit. The one time she did speak out, she got fucking railed by Trump in the next news conference by Trump. You know what I mean? So, when you ask why people have been quiet, that might be why. But I'm sorry, I need a guy that's like Christopher Wray over at the FBI. You may be appointed by a political person, but your job is nonpartisan. Your job is to convict cases and fight crime, motherfucker. Go fight crime, right? Like, well, America's doctor's job isn't to be a partisan person. It's to go fucking doctor America, motherfucker. Go doctor America. So, I would encourage you guys, even if you're not a big fan of CNN, I'm not a fan of most news outlets. I'm not gonna lie, I do fanboy over ABC, but that's because that's the affiliate I used to work for, and they're good, honest journalism. Let's be honest here. David Muir is a great journalist, and his show's great. So anyway, 2020 is another good show. We're actually gonna be talking about a show we all watched on 2020 from over the weekend that affects us here at home in Colorado, but you guys got to see it nationally, and I've been following the case for about 8-9 years. Cammie's been following the case since like 2016 when she got on the show. And Scotty, I don't know how long you've been following the the Kelsey Schilling case, Scotty. I don't know how long you've been following that, but probably as long as I have, because you've been here the whole time it's been going on. He froze. He froze up. He didn't freeze up. So anyway, I'll make a joke.
I heard something about poor Casey.
Oh, I said you and I have probably been following about the same amount of time. Me as a journalist, you as just a resident, and then as a journalist since you've been here at least. And as a talk show host. I don't really like to call us journalists anymore because I don't chase stories. Once in a blue moon, we'll chase stories like the election or a local rally or a local debate or something, but we don't really chase stories. We let those great guys and girls that are the young kids in the game do it for us, and then we just use their stories as the, subject of talk. Speaking of subject of talk, it's time to play Bad Cop, because I got no good cop today for you guys. I have 3 cop stories, 2 in the headlines, 1 for Cammie. No good cops. Sorry, guys. There are good cops out there. We all know that all cops are not all bad, as some people would love to believe. But we also know that the good majority of them, even the good majority of good ones, don't speak out on their bad brethren. Let's just say it that way. But of course, if you saw the police's pension fund, you'd understand why. But that's why I say the police pension fund should have to pay for killing civilians when found wrong. I also think that what is a wrongful killing should be looked at again, because right now we're letting cops shoot people in the back and going, yeah, he was threatened. What? I can't even shoot a motherfucker running away from me and say I was threatened. How the fuck can a cop do it? But never mind that. Let's move on. Speaking of cops shooting people, let's get right to it. Of course, this one's a good story from a bad story. Y'all remember, of course, Botham Jean. Scotty, I don't know if you remember, but you also weren't here when this went down, but we were here when this went down, and we covered a story way back in September of 2018 when a Dallas police officer shot and killed her neighbor when she walked into the wrong home and assumed it was hers. Y'all remember that, right? It was Amber Geiger killed, of course, Mr. Jean. So Botham Jean is getting a portion of a major street in Dallas named after him. So instead of it being named after a popo, it's named after the person the popo shot wrongfully. for most of you that don't know, Jean was a 26-year-old accountant from the Caribbean island of St. Lucia. And, of course...
Lucia.
So what? Leave me alone. So, Scotty, where are you? Come back. I need help. Get in the studio. Let's go get vaccinated together, bro. We'll skip there. We'll skip the whole way there. No, the whole show could have been vaccinated under journalism clause. I decided that we weren't going to do that. And then when I looked at the vaccines, guys, I was like, oh crap, we all are just old and decrepit and we actually qualify.
Well, I mean, and we've given...
We're not old.
Well, I mean...
We all have pre-existing conditions, sadly.
For me, I wanted to give time for
More
the
people.
for the people who need it the most, such as people who are in sick or, in
well, look, here's a good example. Here's a good example. I have mild asthma, and this is a respiratory disease. That's why we're listed, right? So, it is. I've had mild asthma my entire life. I've been an athlete my entire life. So I still waited until right before the general population is getting ready to get released here, and then went. And that's because there's people who have severe asthma who probably should have went before me. And then there's people who have cancer asthma. That's not a thing, but I was trying to make a point here. You get what I'm saying. So anyway, but let's go to our next cop thing. So also today, we'll probably break down some of what we saw tomorrow, as opening arguments will begin today in the case of the state of Minneapolis, or the state of Minnesota versus Mr. Chauvin, the man who knelt on George Floyd's neck for more than 8 minutes and killed him. They're like, his drug use and lifestyle killed him. And I'm going, so you're telling me that choking the motherfucker out with your knee had nothing to do with it, though? But he died when you did that, but it had nothing to do with it, though.
Whether he was troubled or not,
bro, that's like saying
what that cop did is still not at all how.
That's like saying Mr. Trey plays football, so because we dislocated his knee during an apprehension, it's because he played football, though. It's not because we fucking snapped his knee out of place. Come the fuck on now, people. I just want to let y'all know the level of fuckery that the Derek Chauvin defense is going to come with today in opening arguments, as several news outlets were able to obtain portions of their opening arguments. We're not going to get into that. We're just going to let that part go. So, nearly a year after George Floyd died, we're now getting ready to start the case. It took 11 days to pick 12 jurors and the alternates. That's 3, by the way. I'm not surprised by that. I actually thought it would take longer. I thought it would be harder to find what you would be able to consider 12 impartial jurors. Now, I'm still interested in where Minneapolis is located. I'm still interested in the law there. Like, is it like Georgia, where you only need, has never made sense to me. In Georgia, you only need like 10 of the 12 jurors to convict, and you have a conviction. You actually are not convicted by a unanimous jury of your peers in some states. I don't know if y'all know that, but that's state law in some states. They called this the black law. I call it the black law. In some states, they put up a law that, civil rights said, hey, you can't be convicted. You can't just be sending black people to jail for life and not even have one black juror. So then they weren't sending black people to life because they were trumped up charges and drummed up charges on people, because the one black person in the room was like, no, hell nah, y'all, what the fuck y'all doing? This is some bullshit. So then they changed the law and said, we don't even need the black juror we put on the jury. So it's the black law. That's why I call it the black law, because the law was designed to be able to convict black people on trumped up charges without an actual entire jury of your peers. By the way, every one of those cases should have been and should be thrown out by the United States Supreme Court for this reason and this reason alone. It was not a conviction by by a jury of your peers. At least one of your fucking peers was like, nah, man, I'm not buying it. So my question, though, is what's at play in Minneapolis? Is it the must be a full jury of 12, or it becomes a hung jury and there has to be a retrial, or the state decides not to go for the trial again. You know how that goes, a mistrial. Does it have to be the full jury, or is it going to be a mistrial? That's the one thing that I'm going to be looking into for Minneapolis law. Scotty, actually, I'm going to make Scotty do it because I have to go to the dealership this morning. Scotty, will you find out if in Minneapolis or in Minnesota, does a jury of the full jury have to convict, or is it like 10 of 12? I'm pretty sure it's only like 3 states that have this like 11 or 10 of 12 rule, and they're all in the South if I remember right. But check on that for me, because I do want us to be right on that. Does it have to be an entire jury? Because if it is, I don't think you're going to get a conviction, and I'll tell you why. There's always going to be that one person that's Blue Lives Matters no matter what, and doesn't believe that any cop does anything wrong. And it's a little scary that one of those people could secretly and easily be on this jury.
Right.
Now, of course, if I had 11 jurors saying yes and 1 saying no, I'm retrying the fuck out this dude. Matter of fact, if my first conviction goes 11-1, I'm going to do him like they do every person in the country. I'm going to keep retrying you until I just get a jury that actually convicts you. Do y'all ever notice how if they get in a hung jury, you're not acquitted? They just take you back to trial again? What happened to double jeopardy? So you're telling me, but now I'm saying that because it's a cop, right? Would you be happy if I said that over a pedophile? Over somebody who raped and murdered an old lady in her home? Because cases like that have been hung and then turned around and convicted finally later. So you guys see the problem with the judicial system? It's never been fair. It's never been a two-way street. And for police, that gate really has swung one way. So if I told you ways that would make it easier to convict a cop, but it would also make it harder to convict criminals, would you be okay with that?
No.
That's all I wanted to ask. Would you be okay with making it easier to convict cops by making it harder to convict criminals? Because that could be the potential damage.
No.
I digress. We are at an impasse that is complicated. None of this shit's easy, guys.
Right.
Let me tell you something. You know why we're divided about everything and fight over everything, guys? Because if it was fucking easy, it'd be solved already. If it was something that was easily agreed upon, well, fuck, it would be agreed upon already. So, sometimes the logic of the problem or the problem of the logic lies right within the problem or the logic. This is very simple, I think. I mean, for me, it seems simple. So, let's move on. I digress. That's my last news story. I have no good cops in the news today. Fucking hate us if you want.
It's not our fault.
Right? I didn't put the brakes in here, but let's do let's do Cammy's What Are You Watching? And then we'll go to break. Let's do that. We're going to hit 3 out the gate this morning, then we'll go 2 by 2 the rest of the way. Yeah. We'll get the hard work done early. Sticking it out. We're in. What? So, Cammy, it's time for What Are You Watching? Spring Break Edition. And so we have a bunch of these this week for you guys. Our first one is What Are You Watching? Over the weekend, 2020's newest episode came out last Friday. That episode involved the case of Casey Schilling, which of course was
it's Kelsey Schilling.
I mean Kelsey Schilling. But anyway, which was she the reason why the case is so important here is myself being involved in journalism since before this young lady was murdered. I've been following and tracking the case. Several of my friends and former colleagues in news and whatnot are still following the case, and it has. I'm just going to tell y'all is like I have to tell you. I use words like alleged, could, and maybe, and would, and not would but could. Or should, yeah. And so very open-ended stuff because people's innocence means something to me until they're proven guilty. This is one of the very few times that the minute it came out very early, like 2014, 15, a couple years out, it came out very quickly though, that he was literally the last person to see her alive. No video of her anywhere else. No, from the moment he says
Text
he saw her last,
everything.
Well, okay, so sort of, but not. Come to find out later, not really, right? So that means no, it wasn't her anyway, right? You know what I'm talking about with the text messages, how it wasn't like in her verbiage and things like that. And they
no, that's not.
But what I'm saying is real communication, seeing this woman on a video, speaking to this woman on a goddamn phone, hearing her voice, knowing that she's literally alive. A text message is not fucking whether they're alive or not. You need to hear them speak to you, not a recording, not a recorded message. Somebody can murder something, make them record a message, murder them, bury them, get rid of them, and milk your ass. No, proof of life, motherfucker. You show me they're alive, or you shut the fuck up. So when you get to that point, there was no proof of life capable. She wasn't even on a video going into like a 7-Eleven and then she disappeared. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing I said was, oh, that motherfucker killed her. That's the very first thing I said. Like, not even a year into it, I was like, her boyfriend killed her.
For me, one of the most disappointing things about her case, honestly, was how unproactive the sheriff's office was in finding out really whether if it was just a missing persons or if it was an actual crime that happened.
After watching that documentary, I am not so sure that they would have had a, okay, because here's the deal. There's no body. There's no physical evidence. There's no physical evidence of a murder. There is suspicious circumstantial evidence that warrants the possibility of foul behavior. Let me word it that way. But to be quite frank, from a legal standard, there is no body. There is no murder victim body like type thing. There's no physical evidence anywhere. There's just some circumstantial evidence. The only thing they had was motive. She was pregnant. He didn't want to have a baby. They have text messages and stuff like that to back that up. You know what I mean? So when you look at it from that perspective,
right.
You look at another very powerful point that the mom was actually called as the prosecution's witness. His mom. I don't know if y'all caught that, but I did fucking catch that his mom was called as a prosecution witness. If his mom isn't refusing to speak for them or speak to them or speak on their side of this case, that says a lot to a jury, guys. Whether there's a body, whether there's a crime scene, whether there's actual physical evidence versus circumstantial. You know what I mean?
I actually learned some things that they didn't tell the public right away about the whole case, too.
Excuse me, right?
Yeah. One of the big factors is that's still a mystery is one of the biggest witnesses against him was killed, was murdered, 2 days before?
Well, whoa. But to date, it has been determined that murder was completely unrelated. The murderer's in jail up in Denver. They can't tie him to
allegedly.
Look, man, as much as I want to wear a fucking tinfoil hat and wait for the aliens to come too, it still doesn't, it's circumstantial, basically. I mean, so it's concerning. When I first heard that a witness went dead days before they were supposed to testify in a murder trial, I was like, huh? But in the end, they couldn't find anything that tied that shooter to Dante Lucas. And furthermore, anything for the reasoning behind shooting the other person, what was given as the reason for shooting that person, isn't in any way, shape, or form related to the Dante Lucas case.
I think one of the biggest...
It was an altercation in the street, from what I understand, between two people.
I think one of the biggest things that they found in the case, or that one of the facts that came out that truly, I think, honestly did put him away, was the fact that he eventually admitted to being the one that got in her car that was left at the Walmart parking lot. Well, and he basically told detectives that he had been lying from the beginning one way or another. Without saying that, that's what he said. And I think he actually said on one of the recordings, I lied to you motherfuckers. He literally said that.
Like, yeah, I lied to you bitches. What? Basically, in a nice way. You know, so,
it doesn't say, or I don't believe even says what he lied about, but He did say that to them.
So this is a case that has absorbed some reporters' lives for a couple years. It didn't absorb my life. Like, I didn't go down to the courthouse and follow the case like that. I let other, investigative journalists follow the case and report back, and then look at the case and the evidence that they would be able to get from the police or anything that they can obtain from law enforcement, and take a look at that. And we can build a case here and say, this is what we believe is the most likely potential cause of this woman's death or disappearance.
This isn't going to be the last we hear about this case, because they also did say towards the end of this show on 2020 that his lawyers are planning on appealing.
Okay, so first off, I would just like to point out that is literally the most fucking asinine thing that fucking ever gets said at the end of a fucking story. No shit. He got a life fucking sentence. I don't give a fuck who you are. No one gets a life sentence, crawls into a hole, and just lets it go.
Oh, no, they used up all their appeals.
You start the appeal process to at least get your case conviction lowered down to the possibility to get out.
Right.
Death penalty people, they do the same thing. They appeal, even though they're guilty of sin. They still appeal to the wholehearted effects of appealing to get off death row. People who are sentenced to nonviolent life sentences on nonviolent crimes appeal their convictions all the time. So for the Lucas case to be appealed means nothing to me. And I hate that every news story goes, they are appealing the conviction. No shit. If you say that as factual information versus part of the story, fine. But when you say it's part of the story, I'm like, well, no shit.
Come on, you've been in media for a long time. They do it
yes, I tell
so
a good story
that
too.
you watch the next one about it, or
I tell a fucking good story
too. Rebait the hook.
That's exactly
I tell
what
a good guys. The story that I've gotten the most credit for in my life was a story about a youth baseball team that I wrote 20 years ago, it was the way I described the story. The way I described it, people told me they felt like they were reading a Major League Baseball World Series type article, and it was about a little league, Cal Ripken, Babe Ruth League type baseball game. And they were like, this felt like I was reading about the World Series. This was a great write. So going back to, I can tell a story too, I get it, but it still fucking frustrates me because, you know what it is? You know what it is? Here it is. You know why stuff like that frustrates me? Let me just tell you the truth. Because I paid attention to the guy behind the curtain when we went to Oz, okay? That's why it bothers me. The wool ain't over my eyes, motherfucker. It ain't been. So anyway, let's do this. Quick break. When we get back, we're going to be talking to Scottie Pippen. And damn, that's a headline. Spring break was anything but spring break in Boulder, Colorado last week. This break brought to you by our homies over at Sam's Creations. That's Creations. Yep, Sam's Creations. That's Sam's with a Z, Creations with a Z. You want good edibles, award-winning cannabis food creations, you know the right place. Sam's Creation on Facebook, Sam's Creations on Instagram. Don't forget the Z's. And, of course, you can give her a call at 719-496-0412. We'll be right back after the break. Look, the recipe for success is pretty practical. You lead a little weight, you sprinkle in a little bake. You grab some coffee, and we get you out the door the right way for show. It's Wake and Bake America weekday mornings. Are you ready to get turned up, lit, and whatever it is, or even boot, scoot, and boogie? Then you need to come down to Copperhead Road every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and hang out with your boy and the Wake and Bake America crew. Ladies' night, we got you. Friday night, come on, we got you. Saturday night, don't miss the all-ages party every weekend, a half a block south of North Carefree on Academy. That's right, come hang out with the Wake and Bake America crew. Your boy, Mr. Trey on the ones and twos. We got hip-hop, we got country. Why go anywhere else when it's all at one spot? That's right, Copperhead Road.
That Copperhead Road.
Apothecary Farms is the premier cannabis dispensary on the Front Range. When you think concentrates in Colorado, you think Apothecary Farms. With locations in Pueblo, Colorado Springs, and Denver, it is clear why Apothecary owns the cannabis concentrate game. How do you get your diamonds, shatter, butter sauces, and come on, ambrosia? Just look up Apothecary Farms on Google or Weedmap. Get the best in concentrates. Don't hesitate to stop at Apothecary Farms.
Good morning, Wake and Bake listeners. This is your guy, Scotty, checking in with you in the morning here, waking and baking with you and getting you started for your day. Have a good one. Everyone loves you, except for Trey.
Good morning, America.
Wakey, wakey, bakey, bakey.
What's up, Ian, over in England? By the way, you see my Chelsea Blues slaughtering that FA Cup, bro? You see that shit? You see that shit? All right. So anyway, I got a little excited there. We've played like shit for a couple of years, and so we're actually starting to get back to true what I call true blue form. Blue and blue through, baby. So let's do this, though. Shout out to all our listeners across the globe and across the country. Shout out to Michigan, England, of course, back to England, checking in this morning. Shout out, of course, to my homies over in Michigan checking in this morning. We got, of course, South Florida checking in this morning. And, of course, also our homies over in Texas checking in this morning. We got the homies over in Jersey and New York checking in this morning. Thank you guys for checking in. Of course, everybody else. If we don't say you, believe me, we see you. Don't trip. We appreciate everybody coast to coast, all the way out to the likes of Oahu, Hawaii, all the way back around to Tokyo, baby. We get them all. And thank you all for checking in and listening to the show. Also, a big shout out to, who is it again? It's, let me remember. Hold on. It's Massachusetts is heavily competing with Michigan and California for our top 3 listener states outside of Colorado. Because you're never going to beat Colorado, but after Colorado, bro, y'all 3 get it, okay? Y'all get it. Now, let's do this, though.
Appreciate y'all.
Cammie, let me hit a commercial for Well Damn, That's a Headline.
Apothecary Farms is the leader in concentrates. Get your Apothecary Farms in Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Denver, and Oklahoma, or at hundreds of other cannabis dispensaries today.
All right, Scotty. So it's time for Well Damn, That's a Headline. Spring break was anything but a break for most Coloradans and a good chunk of the country as everybody stood idle while 10 people were gunned down at a King Soopers, which is Kroger's on the East Coast, Fry's down in Arizona and on the West Coast, and City Market out in the country, same chain or company, were gunned down at the grocery store. Scotty Pimpin, what you got?
Yeah, and then unless you've been under a boulder, you've heard about this.
That was clean.
So
that was
what
clean.
we're going to talk
that
about...
Clean. That was clean. I see
so
what
we're going to talk about is how the city is holding distanced ceremonies for mass shooting victims. It's pretty simple. At 8 p.m. Saturday, you basically took 10 minutes of your life, devoted that to silence, put a candle up in your window, or just lit a candle, whatever. And, just remembered these people. And it's so strange, doing this during a pandemic, because normally it's a time where we come together, everybody gathers together and we show that we're, there for each other in the community. And a lot of times things like this can bring people together. It's unfortunate that it takes things like this sometimes. But being that we're in a pandemic, we had to... remember these folks from a distance. And that's what they did on Saturday. I want to go through the names. I am horrible with names, but we're going to go.
I'll try my best to have your back,
I want to recognize
I ain't
these
no
people.
better, bro.
First one, we had 20-year-old Denny Strong, 23-year-old Nevin Statistic.
Man, that is really
25. 25-year-old Ricky Olds. This is the one, and I do apologize. 49-year-old Trelana Bartkowski.
No, but you got the first name right. It's Barkowaka. I'm not even gonna go for it. I have that blood in me. I have that Baltic area blood in me, bro, and I can't do it.
And we had 51-year-old Terry Liker.
How could you not like her?
51-year-old Eric Talley.
That would be the police officer that ran into a barrage of bullets and was shot in the head and killed almost instantly.
Hero.
Not all cops are bad, guys. Some cops run into a fucking building of bullets with 7 fucking kids, y'all. And sometimes real got to recognize real.
Yep. 59-year-old Suzanne Fountain. 61-year-old Kevin Mahoney.
Mahoney? Oh, my God, Police Academy. Every time I hear that name.
62-year-old Lynn Murray. And 65-year-old Jody Waiters.
Yep. These were brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, mothers, fathers, grandparents, the whole nine, guys.
Yes, and every single one of these people have a story behind them. And, there's some young deaths, there's some old deaths. They're all...
Yeah, he definitely didn't, care.
Unfortunate.
He did not care. He just went crazy.
He just went in there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I remember right, 51-year-old Terry Liker, he was the one, I believe, if I remember right, whose daughter was about to have a baby. He was about to be a grandpa. And I also am like, damn, I was a grandpa like 12 years before you, homie. Like, I really am ahead of the curve here. Jeesh.
Yeah, and this mass shooting occurred just days after the mass took place in Atlanta, where 8 people were killed, 6 of them being of Asian descent.
Which I would like to continue to point out that most major news outlets almost went cold on the Asian shootings in Atlanta the minute a bunch of regular old Americans got gunned down at a grocery store.
Yeah, not cool.
And I would just like to remember
and that's exactly
remind people,
why I wanted to bring it back up.
Thank you. That in Atlanta, that is beyond terror. That is terrorism and a hate crime. What took place in Boulder, I have no problem with calling terrorism. Not because his name's Ahmad and he was a 3-year-old refugee from Syria when he came to America. No, not because of that. Not like most of you fuckheads. No, not at all. It's called terrorism because he went to a fucking grocery store and shot it up, terrorizing the people that were there working and shopping. That's why I call him a terrorist, because he terrorized people.
Yes, sir.
Just for the record.
Yes, sir.
So we keep the record straight. So let's go on to, again, a lot's been going on. Right before we left, we were covering a case of, I believe it was 5 or 7 women who had made some pretty some of who had made some pretty serious allegations against Deshaun Watson, the famed Houston Texans starting quarterback, and really the huge center of a lot of huge potential trade possibilities in the NFL and so forth. And what we've seen now is that I've lost count, first off, so I don't want to try to put a number on it and then be wrong and get chastised for that, but more than a dozen for sure women. And we're getting to the likes of potentially up to 24 women have made some type of allegations. Now, I'm going to tell you guys where some things don't sit well with me on this case against Deshaun Watson is the number of women and the forced fellatio, which is the only one of the accusations that could potentially be a serious crime. That's rape if you force a woman to give you head. That's the end of it, guys. Fellatio, by the way, is the fancy legal term that you hear in court for head, dickweeds. For all you uneducated motherfuckers out there, it's fellatio, just so you know. Now, there you learned something. Now go use it today, not around the water cooler, because that'll get you fired. With that said, so forced fellatio is fucking rape, motherfuckers. So with that said, if that's what happened, then that's very serious. On the flip side of that coin, what's come out during that time is that the lawyer for these women said that he had a bunch of evidence that he was going to drop off to the police, and he never did. And from what I understand, he still hasn't. Now, the stall tactic being used is we're still collecting more evidence. No, it doesn't work that way. You don't work for the police. You're not a legal person in a sense like that. You're a lawyer. You're not an investigator for the police department. If you have evidence of a potential crime and you're withholding that potentially could be a crime. So that doesn't look very well for these women, because if he's withholding evidence that could potentially be a crime, it's probably because, guess what, guys? It's because it's not a crime. That's why he can withhold it legally, because it's civil. So that bothers me. Some of these women went straight to a legal settlement. One included a 6-figure settlement, and threatened Deshaun with action. Deshaun vehemently denied the allegations, told them to go fuck themselves, and said, do what you got to do. I'll see you in court. That actually bodes very well for Mr. Watson. There's a lot going on here, guys. And then, could there be some truth and some lie? That's the part when you see that many allegations, you go, okay, is there some truth to this? Does Deshaun Watson essentially believe that he can just act any type of way because he's, well, let's go back to famed quarterback, right? And did some of these women, were they okay with what went down and or were willful partakers? But because now there's a case on maybe something that wasn't okay, now I can get paid too. The waters here are so muddy.
There's 3 sides to every story. There's his side, her side, and the truth.
Boom. You know the rules here on this show.
Almost every time too. Almost every time.
And the truth of the truth is we ain't looking for his truth or her truth. I just want the truth. So that we can call this truth. So that we can call this what it is, regardless of whether this looks bad for one Deshaun Watson or whether this looks bad for, it's hard to say looks bad for that many women, because when you start getting into the realm of 15, 20, 25 women,
right?
You know what I mean, Scotty? I mean, this isn't 1 or 2, bro, we're looking at you, but we still don't, we think maybe you need to go through some sensitivity training on how you approach women or something, because some women have said some sideways shit about you, yada, yada, yada. Maybe we can nip this in the butt because you obviously don't know how to talk right, act right, or be right around chicks. No, this is 24 women over a long time, and that actually, this isn't like once in his life, once upon a time. No, this is 24 women over what appears to be 5 or 6 years now, minimum, which really doesn't bode very well for Mr. Watson, because it shows a long-term repetitive pattern of behavior. That was another ugly side, by the way.
That repetitive, patterns. People follow patterns a lot of times.
And then there's always gold digger seekers too. So I wonder, is anyone, listen, guys, let me tell you something. First off, I don't believe this is a conspiracy. I want to be clear. I don't want to be chastised later for what I'm about to tell you, but I do want to be honest with you guys and tell you that if you don't believe that a couple dozen people could conspire to get paid off of a rich guy, then you are sorely mistaken, and you know nothing about the Manhattan Project. Because if you don't believe that if you don't believe that each of the 24 people doesn't know that the other 23 are conspiring, then you're an idiot, because over 100,000 people worked on the nuclear Manhattan Project, and not a one of them spoke a fucking word about it, and we bombed Japan because of it. So when I tell you can keep people quiet on some shit, don't tell me you can't. Jeffrey Epstein is another one where I look at that and I go, whether he killed himself or not, I have no doubt and no problem believing that everyone looked the other way, because this man had ties to President Trump, President Clinton. This man had ties to some of the richest people in the world, including a fucking Prince Andrew. Like, I'm not surprised. I don't think that someone killed Jeffrey Epstein. I just think that he was given, let's just say, an ultimatum. And then some other people who probably didn't know about ultimatum were given maybe a little money to look the other way or walk the other way. Or, dude, you can't be on suicide watch and not be checked on for 8 fucking hours. Can I just say that?
It's true.
So with that said,
are not supposed to.
And why do I bring up all these other weird conspiracies? Because yes, 24 people can conspire and keep a secret, because I watched 100,000 people do it in the Manhattan Project with the nuclear bomb in America for pride and patriotism, right? Whatever. So, but what I'm also telling you is that just like Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, but did he turn up dead for a reason? You bet your sweet ass. Well, these girls, I can't not believe these women, Scotty. That's the problem. Like, I'm trying to give both sides equal weight here. I hope you guys see me really reaching trying to do that. But I'm trying to give
I see it.
I'm trying to give benefacto to both sides.
It's hard not to.
When you talk about 24 women, I get chills up my spine. I get goosebumps right now, because it's hard not to believe that at least one of them is probably telling the truth. And It sucks because while, like, I believe Jeffrey Epstein was a scumbag because of the number of accusers, not because of the accusation. It's not even the evidence of Epstein. It's the number of people. Well, I have a hard time believing that Deshaun Watson is probably innocent because of the number of people. But I'm trying to be fair to everyone and say, look, I've seen conspiracies bigger than this with more people involved. And there are some things that are sketched, like why hasn't the lawyer turned over the quote-unquote evidence he has? Because your evidence is...
That's the part that kills me.
That's the part that kills me. It's like, if your evidence is real evidence, then do get it to the police, man. There could be a crime here.
Right.
They could be convicted. But
even if you're still gathering evidence, you can turn in what you have, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's just really hard not to believe 24 women. I don't even need to believe all 24. Like, to be honest, we should listen to every one of them and make our decisions based off of what they say, obviously. But I don't even need to believe 24 of them. Because remember, the old adage that if there's 50 people saying Uncle Joe is a molester, that ought to tell you what you need to know right there. Yeah, like I said,
it's tough, man.
You look at the kid and you're like, man, this kid's done great things in his neighborhood and for the city of Houston.
Right,
and another thing that doesn't look good for him too is, and I almost forgot, I don't know how I could forget this, but it did really seem kind of odd that he just randomly wanted out of Houston really quick. But I will tell you that it wasn't as random as a sports cover like me and podcast PR to us, because well, actually, we watched Houston for 2 years sell off all of his weapons and half the defense. And so we believe that that's why he wanted out, because they weren't including him in management decisions. But this obviously is definitely eyebrow raising at the very least, that he wanted out so quickly and so badly. And then all of a sudden all this comes up. You know what I mean? And then, hey, guys, if you want me to give prudence to the other side of the facto, like, do you really believe that there's a conspiracy of 25 women or 24 women conspiring against Deshaun Watson? What could be possible? Yeah, but I don't believe it. Well, I mean, here's another one. Do you really believe that the entire grouping of the Houston Texans would conspire against Deshaun Watson with some pretty heinous allegations just to keep him in Texas? Come on now. That's one of the conspiracies going around, though, is that the Texans are conspiring against Deshaun Watson to keep him in Texas. It's fucking, it's laughable to even say it. I can hardly say it without laughing. So anyway, let's do this, folks. Let's go to break. When we get back, we got a 5-year-old threatened to be beaten by police after being arrested. Yes, you heard me right. I didn't make up that. 5 years old, not 15, not 25, 5. Craig, we'll be back.
Hey, what's going on? It's the Hungry Hustling American Dream Afro Man. Wake and bake, America. Yeah, you're chilling with Mr. Ashtray.
That's Mr. Trey, not Ashtray.
You're listening to Mr. Trey, and you know why. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, you gotta check Young Fat, the hottest artist for the mighty CO, self-made Colorado favorite artist, Young Fats, 2 G's and 2 T's, introduces us to a brand new single. You better check Stay Dangerous.
So serious, stay dangerous, stay dangerous, stay dangerous, keep it dangerous.
Available for your purchase right now, iTunes and Amazon Music. Subscribe and follow for the latest tracks from Young Fats.
Play to win.
You'll be catching the vibes and stream free right now on all major platforms. Young Fats, vibing the mountains all the way.
I need more of you, ain't threatening.
And looking for your support, download on iTunes and Amazon Music today. 2 G's and 2 T's with Young Fats. Check it out.
I need more of you like commas.
Hey, it's your girl, Cammie, Renee, and you're listening to Wake and Bake America Show. You know I bring you the best.
We're smoking.
Trey gonna be that old guy in sandals and khakis with a button.
I've been saying this for how long now?
I can't step outside
He
naked.
jumped into the river.
What did you do? Did you run
I
along
jumped
the river
in.
bank?
I let autocorrect make me look stupid on Facebook every day. With Luxembourg. I can't do it.
It's Luxembourg.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. That's what they all say.
He tried to get me to do the Humpty and Sunset.
Ah!
Oh, look at you, girl.
I said it's too early.
Sexual tracking app on it, and it found that
Who is actually using that? Welcome home, gentlemen from the 4th Infantry Division, 4th ID.
Yeah, I think he was trying to be funny, but it kind of escalated.
I think he was trying to hit her on a discount. Oh, my nigga.
They used to listen to FM, but they played the same old
Good morning, America.
Wakey, wakey, bakey, bakey.
By the way, it's Cammy's story turn, right? But that beat was Big Pimpin', and we really should use that every time Scotty's up for a story. The problem is the reason why I don't want to get sued. And I don't want to go find every pimp.
I got a local artist that's got one even better than that. He might throw it to me.
Oh shit! I'll use it for intro. Local artists can send their music in, and we will put it into the instrumental bank with our instrumentals. And as a matter of fact, I need to do this for Fatso too. But we're gonna start using local artists and people we know or who love us music for intro music. Because, like, for instance, we haven't been using our own theme song from Wake and Bake by Two Piece. Which is, most people don't know this, but he's actually a homeboy of mine. And here's the true story. He didn't make Wake and Bake, the song Wake and Bake, for our show. Wake and Bake is an idea that everybody loves to do. You know, you wake up, you get stoned. Wake and Bake, baby.
Right,
so,
right.
But he did tell me, he said, you know, I couldn't help but think about you guys, because he and I have known each other since my artist days before I was ever on the radio. You know what I mean? So he goes, I couldn't help but think of you guys when I was making this song, talking about me and Cammy in the show. You know what I mean? And so I told him, I said, well, dude, I freaking love it, because it's like Wake and Bake, Wake and Bake. I take a dab to Wake and Bake. I get up early to wake. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was just like, bro, this has to be our theme song. I hope you'll do us the honor of allowing us to use this as our theme song. And he was like, oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, you can use my shit as your theme song. I was like, all right, well, if I get any copyright hits, I'm going to tell him, I'm going to type back, quote unquote, he said, hell yeah. All right, so let's do this. It's time for Monday's What the Fuck story. And that's right. When you need to get to what the fuck out of the fucking world for a minute, go to the what the fuck place I go to and get some what the fuck tequila and some what the fuck motherfucking burrs and some what the fuck line dancing and some what the fuck hip hop.
Yeah.
Because that's what the fuck is cracking right now at the right place. That's right. Copperhead Road Bar. That's what the fuck it's happening at. Right. Copperhead Road Bar, 3330 North Academy Boulevard. That's what the fuck's up.
Sir.
Seriously.
I know Chris is going to hear that commercial or that read and be like, dude, don't do that again. Just don't. All right. So, Cammy, seriously, 5-year-old threatened to be beat by police after being arrested and detained for leaving school alone. So that's kind of the overall, but what happened with them? What happened?
Yeah, explain what happened.
Well, see, what happened was,
so this happened in Maryland. This little boy, he apparently didn't want to be at school. He literally walked off the school grounds.
A man that knows what his life's about. I'm not into
that.
5 years old.
No,
I guess teachers finally noticed after the fact and went looking for him with a police officer, and they found him leaning up against a car just on one of the streets near the school. Just chilling.
Parking lot pimping. Where'd you get
chilling.
that car, little dude?
Oh my Lord.
Just chilling, and so they stopped, and that's when the real issue began, is when they got out of the
So
vehicle.
you mean the real issue started when the police showed up? Sounds about right.
Well, how they handled
When the
it
police
is what
got
I'm
involved?
saying. How they handled it. The most disturbing part for me, honestly, is that there was a teacher with him, and the teacher allowed the police officer to talk to this little boy that way. Pretty much he kept repeatedly saying that he needs to be beaten and spanked to this child, which is not his right to say, that he is not his parent.
Right. You are not that child's parent.
Yeah. So,
bro, let me tell y'all, bro.
And it just got worse from there. Okay, so he's 5. Yes, kids are pretty intelligent for, being only 5. But some of the things
You'd
he
be
said.
surprised.
Yeah. He quote, he says, "You feel like you can make your own decisions? Are you an adult? Are you 18? So why are you out of school?" And then he says, "I don't care if you don't want to go to school. You do not have that choice. Do you understand?" Now that part, that wasn't bad actually. That wasn't actually bad that the police officer said that to him. But then after that is where the officer grabs the child's arm. The child starts crying. The teacher gets in the car with him, rides back to school. Once they get into the office at the school, that's when things get a little wiry. The female officer that had showed up apparently started asking, "Does your mother spank you?" "She's going to spank you today. I'm going to ask her if I can do it."
So, just to be clear, the police told a kid that they was going to ask their parent if they could incite or create police violence on a child. Just to be clear, that's exactly the way I see that. Shout out to Canada this morning. How you doing?
And then the male officer calls the little boy a violent little thing. He's 5.
Is that how you talk to your wife too?
Are you serious? Like, he's 5.
And they're talking about violence.
Is that how you talk to your wife?
Worried about him being violent?
Now here's the even worse part.
By the way, not a joke. Police officer domestic violence is one of the worst police crimes in the country. Beating their own spouses, just so y'all know.
Yeah. They also keep talking about whoopings and spankings with him, but at one point, the female officer said he should be put in a crate.
Motherfucker. See, that's what I'm talking about. How people treat. Listen, and I want to be clear that I believe the female officer was African American. Before I say what I'm about to say,
yes, she was.
But this is what I'm talking about dehumanizing black children when they have interactions with the police, and minority children when they have interactions with the police, is dehumanizing them to a point where they're not treated like children anymore and treated like an animal. Saying that you should crate a kid, bitch, man, I can't even say I want to crate. I can't even crate my dogs at the right time or it can be a crime, motherfucker. You talking about crating a kid? Are you fucking serious?
Does this woman have any children?
I hope not. Oh dear God, I hope not. This lady reminds me of one of my crazy aunts, where every time we thought she was pregnant, we were like, please don't let her have a baby. We don't want to have to rescue a child.
We need to go do a wellness check on them children. Have they been put in crates? Come on.
Do you crate your own kids?
Well,
or do you just beat them like other people?
So Montgomery County Police, they put out a statement saying it is clear that the event and everything that has come after the event should have been handled better by all involved. It's important to note that unless an officer is assigned to a specialized unit, Montgomery County police officers do not receive training on how to effectively communicate with a young child in distress. Then why was he allowed to go out there?
That's an understatement.
Then why? Then why was he called out there? Why was he allowed to go out there if he had no training in how to handle that?
Yeah, if you have no training for it, there's no need for you to be there.
We are legally...
Let a couple teachers go out and look for him.
Exactly.
We are trying to do our job right, so we are legally obligated to advise you that the child's family has filed a lawsuit for the incident that took place in January against the police officers involved in the incident, the county, and the Montgomery County Board of Education. The suit seeks compensation and punitive damages and claims that the child suffered severe and extreme emotional distress following the incident.
Yeah, that's a 5-year-old, man.
There's our legal. See, lawyers, we finally did it. We're listening to you.
So that's what I don't get. I'd be like, don't touch my child. Don't talk to my child. I will be there in 20 minutes. I will handle it, not you.
Talk about touching kids that are not yours. Ooh, Cammy's Turned Up Tuesday story tomorrow, boy. Y'all better be around for that.
Yeah, I know.
So let's do this. Let's get to our next one. It's time for Scottie Pippen and the Hip Hop Haps. What's pimping in the haps of the haps of the pimping? Pimping since pimping.
Yes, sir. This is a good one, actually.
And I hear it's brought to you by Studio One. Get it done.
Yeah, Studio One Salon, located Flint Ridge and Academy. You can book online at studio1colorado.com and book with Jamie.
All I'm going to do is do that.
Take care of you.
I'm going to sing a song, and I want to get your reaction, Scotty. Friends. How many of us have them? Friends. All right, so what do you got? Sorry, for those of you that don't know, that was a little inside joke.
Nipsey Hussle's estate settles with the Crips in a trademark lawsuit.
Okay, so before you explain, I'm just going to tell you that the way this sounds is that the hood like expected to get part of Nipsey's estate when he died, or is that exactly what it is?
So, it has something to do with their slogan, "The Marathon Continues."
Oh,
and it's kind of a slogan that the Crips have used for years, and of course, Nipsey Hussle being a Crip, latched onto it and used it, and it became super popular because of him.
Wait, hood ninjas are trademarking their hood slogans now? Gangsta. I mean that.
Man,
that ain't gangsta. I mean, if that ain't gangsta, I don't know what is though. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. That's pretty gangsta.
So,
like, we gonna trademark our shit. The Nipsey Hussle estate has reportedly dropped its lawsuit against the Crips. And this is a story from TMZ. Nipsey's brother notified the court that the estate had reached a settlement with the Crips LLC, right? Wait,
official business.
They have a motherfucker.
Official.
God damn.
Official, like a whistle.
The gang done went bend it. The
document, which was filed Thursday in Los Angeles County Court, does not include details about the agreement, as are still hammering out some issues. The state reportedly plans to submit the detailed agreement in the near future.
Well, I guess the next time some old lady in the hood be like, "Why don't y'all get out the street corner?" Some old lady in the hood gonna be like, "Why don't y'all get out the street corner and start a business?" Them niggas did.
Hey,
they really did.
You watched that documentary where they made their own cola, Crip Cola. Remember that?
Oh, shit. Yeah, I did. I forgot about that. I fucking forgot about that, actually. Son of a bitch. You're right, though. Man.
It sold in the hood. People bought it.
But here's the thing is, if you look at it from the perspective of take the idealism from like bootleggers, take the idealism from all the other great negatives that became positives in the world. Bootleggers were prohibited, yet some of them are the greatest stories on earth. And what did they do when everything kind of changed? They LLC'd that ass and started selling liquor legally and paying their taxes. I mean, in all honesty, as much as I'm like, what the fuck? I'm also sitting back going, slow clap, fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
Saying the dispute goes back to the summer of 2019, and it is over the famous slogan, "The Marathon Continues." But they're saying there will absolutely be no trademark legal battle between the organization and Black Sam, brother of the late Nipsey Hussle. The organization, the Crips, respectively, vows to support the wishes of Miss London and the family, and realize that their actions may have been offensive, and the family, and apologize to everybody, and just keeping it cool, I guess, right?
Yeah, I will tell you that. Now, listen, I'm not going to sit here and speak on gang shit like I know that, like they business. No. But what I will speak on is logic and intelligence, business, politics, and whether you guys realize it or not, there's a lot of politics at play here and a lot of business at play here. Because let me tell you something. Right. The day they shot Nipsey is the day they made him a martyr, much like Pac, much like Biggie. Because the thing that was different about him than a lot of folks is that he didn't just die, but he was giving back to his community. He went and bought up blocks on Crenshaw, bro, and started businesses.
He was like the heart of that community.
So
real talk.
Now let's shift gears and go. That's the business of it, right? So that man helped a lot of people who ain't on gang shit also get their businesses going. Who don't float to that shit, who don't flood to that side of shit. So I think that this was smart by this particular group of individuals, this group of the gang of Crips that he was involved, that he's from, his neighborhood, the Rolling 60s, I believe it is, if I remember right. But
it's not that specific.
Oh, it's not? Oh, wow. Oh, or they just don't. But I know. Okay, well, I know that.
No, they're not.
I've seen the Nipsey Hussle documentary.
We know that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, I actually, technically, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I knew that before the documentary. But anyway, you knew that because he hung out with Big U. And if you don't know who Big U is, you ain't from the West Coast, and it's just that real. But anyway, and because, like I said, I may not be in a gang, but I know the people in the gangs. You know what I'm saying? So, but all jokes aside, I think that from a political aspect, I think that it was absolutely smart of the gang to do their political sense and try to make peace within the situation and make it a peaceful situation, because Nipsey Hussle is basically baby Jesus to the Crips now. And you have to you have to when you look at the business and the politics of it all, that makes sense to me. I don't need to know gang stuff to know that makes sense from the business and the politics of it, because the gang has to, believe it or not, they want to be known as tough guys that will fucking kill you, basically, for no lack of better words. But they also want to be known as guys that will look out for and protect the neighborhood, because that's not me saying that.
That's the original purpose.
That's the OGs in the documentaries you watch on TV saying that. Like, we'll fuck you up, but we trying to help you up and make a buck.
Break it down, rebuild you.
What the fuck? So here we go.
That's the first thing they thought of was the buck, huh?
Yep.
And then they're like, oh, hold on, pump the brakes.
Maybe that's not the best road to avenue.
Extremely disrespectful.
So check this out, though. Let's do this. Quick break. When we get back, we got Mary J. Mondays and Stump the Stoners. You know what it do.
Hey, what's happening? It's your boy Bubba Sparks. If you didn't know prior to this moment, you better know for sure. Anytime I'm rolling through Colorado Springs, I'm checking out Wake and Bake America. How could you not be listening to Wake and Bake? Holding it down with Cammy, Renee, and Mr. Trey. All the way, twice on Sunday. Y'all probably ain't on Sunday, but it's all good. y'all should be.
Copy written, so don't copy me.
Hey, Southern Colorado, when it comes to getting your shirts made and printed and also designs on other products you want,
Sick Tees.
Southern Colorado has the premier shirt maker and designer. That's right, it's sicktees.com. Tell them.
Sick Tees.
And where can you find?
sicktees.com.
At sicktees.com. That's SIKTEEZ.com.
sicktees.com.
Your mom
Sick Tees
has proudly sponsored Wake and Bake America for 4 seasons.
Hey, it's your girl, Cammy Renee from Wake and Bake America show. Stay tuned for the Stump the Stoner, where I make these guys look stupid. I mean, it ain't that hard anyways.
Good morning, America.
Wakey, wakey, bakey, bakey.
That's right. It's time for Mary J. Monday, brought to you by
Wake and Bake America show is happy to partner with underground sensation Young Fats.
He has a concert, by the way, coming up with Spice One in Denver. Check out his Instagram for details. Also, I've shared that on my story on Instagram.
Check out and download Young Fats on all
Everything
music
open
platforms.
back up. Everything open back up.
She gonna kill you. He's like this right now.
Check out and download Young Fats on all music platforms. That's YUNGGFATTZ.
Word. So, let's do this.
Ooh, look, I messed with her and she still got it right.
Right? That's because she don't like you. No, I'm just playing. So, she told me the other day, she was like, I only really like one of my co-hosts. And she wasn't talking about me. So, I was like, okay.
Oh, no.
Damn. All right. All right, no.
She's talking about an old one.
So here we go. It's time for Mary Jane Monday from the Canophiles. Late Saturday night, New York State lawmakers get a twilight deal done on cannabis. You heard me right. We have been tracking this for, years. It's been like years, guys, like half a decade of this ping pong bullshit on New York. And, well, it was really New York and Jersey weed over the years. But anyway, this ping pong bullshit about New York recreational cannabis. And I'm excited to tell you that New York will be joining unless something should go utterly wrong, because otherwise they've settled on their agreement terms. Everybody seems to be happy. New York could be the next state added to the growing list of cannabis recreationally approved states. Yeah, motherfuckers. So, here's the deal. They reached an agreement on Saturday, like I told you, in the wee hours of the night, lads. And they want to expand the existing medical marijuana program. They also want to set up a licensing and taxation system for recreational sales. And the lawmakers, from what I'm understanding that the AP Associated Press is reporting, is that the lawmakers are expected to vote on the bill on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. That's the earliest they could consider it. The legislative leaders hope to vote on it regardless. They hope to vote on budget Wednesday and meet a budget. So first off, hold on. Their wording just screwed me up. Let me just explain it this way. It's probably better I do that. So here's the fucking deal, yo. They're all going to meet up about the budget, make sure they didn't fuck up the state's money, right? When they do that, they have to approve said budget. Then it goes to the governor's desk to be said. All their budget shit is tied into, or all their cannabis recreational shit is tied into the budget bill that is due by April 1st. So they're set to vote on it today. We should have reporting on it tomorrow for you, or Wednesday, because I may get our show done before they get the vote done. Fair enough. But tomorrow, Wednesday, we should be talking about it. But the whole thing is that there is a rush to deadline, because this specific legislation that's going on right meow in New York, the specific legislative body that's in play, their deadline is April 1st, which is Thursday. And hey, ain't gonna be no fools in New York on no week on April Fools. Hey! That means will you sleep with me? But I really want to say, I want to know how to say, will you let me
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Oh. Well, then what is Gucci Gucci Gale Guava? That's not it?
No.
Do what?
I thought they were saying
guava?
Like, Gucci suits and some guava.
No.
Some lava.
Oh, maybe it was lava. I like your rap skills, though, Scotty.
Go back to school, you two.
You two go back to school. That's her answer.
Oh, no.
Ouch. So
the book every once in a while. I'll be okay.
Let's do this. Let's get to... Excuse me. I go to read a commercial and then start choking. Good job, Trey. You're not live or nothing. Here we go. If you got a comment or you want to... Sorry. Now I'm screwing it up. If you got a comment or want your take read live on the show, just text or call yourself in 719-299-0428. That's 719-299-0428. You can also send us an email to info@wakethenbakeamericashow.com. We love your comments. We love to read them. Yay. So it's time for stuff.
I'm also still checking the Wake and Bake comment section, or the messages, so you can send them through there too.
Yeah, and you can send them to me. I never get on Facebook much anymore. I've deleted all Facebook off my phone. It's more to do with my phone, though. I would have kept the business suite, to be frank with you, but my phone is my phone. Those 76,000 messages to Cammie, though, that probably didn't help. I didn't realize that was a problem. So
I've been telling you that's a.
I never delete. Look, listen.
Five paragraphs of something that could be said in one sentence.
I never delete any messages, because if I get murdered, I want them to find my murder.
Scotty, you know what I'm talking about. 5 paragraphs that could honestly be just one sentence.
They're like, why'd you keep so many of Cammie's
Maybe
messages?
3 words.
Why wouldn't I? No, I'm just playing.
Anyways, let's get this Stump
Some of those
the Stoner.
messages were worth keeping, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, it's time for Stump the Stoner. Stoner. Don't look at me like that. Stoner. So, Stumping Idiots is her game. Cammie is her name. And obviously that leaves us to be her idiots. Duh. We know. We don't even deny it anymore.
Hey.
All right, you guys ready?
It's all right.
All right, Scotty, you're up first. Just because I don't remember who won last. So you go first. I think it was you anyway.
I'm sure it was.
Fuck you.
All right, Scotty. What are the actual names of crime fighters Batman and Robin?
Oh my goodness, Robin, why would Robin that often, I guess? Dang it. I just thought it would come right out, but it didn't. All I know is Wayne. All I know is Batman.
So it's Bruce Wayne for Batman and Dick Grayson for Robin.
Who was from the Grayson family of acrobats in the Chris O'Donnell version. Chris O'Donnell played Robin Hood. He was actually cool Robin Hood because he would later become NCIS lead actor for NCIS Las Vegas, California, one of them. Anyway.
All right. Trey.
No, he was in he was in the NCIS one. That's the one.
Okay, nobody cares. All right.
It's a good show.
Anyways. Trey, name a Shakespearean play containing 2 people's names in the title.
Romeo and Juliet.
There you go. Good job.
I was going to say Macbeth, and I was like, well, Mick is not one. That's still Beth. So Mick and Beth are the same guy.
I wish you would have.
You're right.
I wish you would have. I wouldn't be losing right now.
All right. Where is the next one?
Uh-oh. She done lost all the questions.
Come on, live feed. Where's the answers at?
I win.
No, I mean, we're running out of stuff, finding stuff online, and we've done it so long.
No, you just start asking us lies from the internet. We'll just try to get the lie right.
All right, here we go, Scotty. Here's your second one. What was the name of King Arthur's sword?
Oh, one more time for me. One more time.
What was the name of King Arthur's sword?
Sword.
Oh my goodness, King Arthur's sword definitely had a name.
Mm-hmm. He pulled it out of rock.
Oh, why am I drawing so many blanks? It's completely blank up here right now. Hold on. Something's wrong.
I would like to tell you guys, before he even has a chance to screw this up, that I actually used to have a actual replica of it, and then I sold it to somebody who paid me way more than I ever got it for. So I actually do know the name of the sword because I used to literally have one.
Do you give up, Scotty?
I give up.
Excalibur.
Yep, the Excalibur.
Excalibur. Oh my goodness.
You are just okay. I'm gonna give you the Dick one because I can only remember Robin's first name as Dick because Dick Hood. I mean, come on, let me have that. Moving on.
I just haven't had enough coffee this morning.
All right, here's your second one, Trey. What was the name of the John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York before it was called JFK?
Fuck nuggets. Okay, so let me think here. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay, so
wait,
first
it was
off,
named something before?
Yep.
JFK and LaGuardia still exist, so I don't think it's LaGuardia. LaGuardia wasn't it because LaGuardia is the other airport they kept. Oh man. Wait, no. Lindenberg.
Nope.
Son of a bitch. I went with the first guy that made the transcontinental flight though. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go big here.
Idlewild Airport.
Idlewild. Okay. Fucking cool.
All right. All right. Ready, Scotty? Here's your third one.
Yep.
We send our mail according to the proper zip code. What is zip an abbreviation for? ZIP. What is that abbreviated for?
Not gonna lie to you.
VIP. Very important.
I don't know this one. Zip.
VIP? Oh, zip. ZIP.
Yeah,
like zip code.
What is zip short for?
I didn't know that was an abbreviation.
Dude, I was like, oh, that's abbreviated shit. I just thought that's what it was called. I just thought
what?
Okay, apparently neither of you know.
No.
Zone improvement plan.
No.
Oh, shit. That's like some real zoning shit. Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, yeah. It's where you live.
What is it again?
It's your zoning area.
It's zone improvement plan. That's what a zip the word ZIP stands for. Zone
zip
Improvement Plan.
Yeah.
I mean, it all makes sense now.
Zone Improvement Plan code. That's literally what zip code is.
So basically, when they chop up the land to make it into property and homes and all that, that's what it's called.
See, I actually learned something there. I appreciate that.
All right.
Kind of.
You're still losing.
Mr. Trey.
I'm still losing.
Here's your third one.
Okay.
Movie reviewers have referred to the film Basic Instinct as being misogynistic. What does that word mean?
So, like, I'm not going to sit there and say the literal definition out the dictionary, but I will tell you that misogynistic is essentially sort of a chauvinistic male version of something, or it's drummed up to be more in favor of the man. And usually misogyny is generally used. The word misogyny is generally used in the workplace because it has to do with like a male workplace chauvinistic type environment.
I'll take it.
Thank you. I figured if I talk long enough, I'd say the right thing.
The actual
like what?
The actual description is having a hatred and distrust of women.
I mean, that's definitely a...
Whoa, hold on.
That's definitely the worst...
If you say enough words...
Listen, Scotty, I'm the one that was... I went to school to be a politician, for the record. I'm just not one.
Okay.
All right, so let's go with Scotty. Your last one, yeah? No? Oh, we still got more? All right, we better... Let's go.
Triple or nothing, right?
You're like Barry Bonds. You hit a home run or you strike out. It's cool.
All right. This one has to do with music for you.
Oh.
I don't think you're going to get it, though.
She's like, but you're still dumb.
Oh.
All right. All right.
The gloves are off.
So, what verb has been defined in this manner? To suddenly and repeatedly change from a natural voice to a falsetto and then back again.
What?
It's a verb. It's a verb.
Falset?
Well, listen. It's a verb, but it's a type of singing. I'll give you that hint, because this one's not as descriptive, so you understand.
I'm probably going to get it wrong, but I have an idea. I'm going to let him...
It's not
yours. I know. I'm just saying I'm going to answer when he gets it wrong and just see if I got it right, because I think I have an idea, but I don't think I'm right.
Okay, so from high to low?
Yeah, when you go from singing in your head voice to falsetto, so you're like la-di-da-di.
It's a type of singing.
Yeah, when Nick Jonas do it, bro. It's called doing the Nick Jonas. Thank you. No, I'm just playing.
I think you're going to get it wrong, too.
I thought that was just the difference between me and a professional. I didn't know there was an actual word.
I didn't know there was a word.
Do you give up, Scotty?
Yes.
I thought it was...
Stop torturing
a run, when you run up and run down. No?
To yodel.
What? Yodeling.
A type of singing.
It's called yodeling? I feel like Kelly Clarkson said this on The Voice tonight, and I laughed and didn't pay attention, though.
You weren't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention for sure.
Hit me with a question.
I'll get you on this one, too.
She laughs like, you're fucking dumb, and I'm going to get you.
In the world of wines... What is the name for the aroma or perfume given off by wine? You know how people will stir the glass with their hand and then they'll swirl the glass and then they'll smell it. What is the actual name for
grapes, Trey.
The aroma or perfume given off by wine?
Well,
some stomped on
just
grapes.
For the record, the word should be scent because you smell it.
Nope.
But I know that's not it. And for the record, I'm terrible with words and I hate you.
For the record.
I hate you. No, because it's worse.
I say a bunch of words.
No. I actually did wine tasting for Old Chicago for a few months. It was great. I basically got paid to get drunk. It was fun. But I'd never I could never remember the words because they're all fucking fancy French words. Like, watch this fancy fucking French word.
Are you done? Are you?
Yeah, it's called like aromia.
No. It's called the bouquet.
Oh yeah, the bouquet. Damn it! Because when you open the
What?
So stupid. Because
Like a bouquet of flowers.
Because
That-
wine-
Like a bundle of flowers?
Because most of the original wines had more of a floral essence to them. So it would be opening the bouquet. You get it because when you open the
They're
bottle,
grapes, Trey.
you can smell the. I know.
All right,
grapes.
last one, Scotty.
And why is there a rosé, dickweed?
Oh, no, you're still torturing me. Okay.
Scotty, what is the name of the Japanese art of paper folding?
Ooh,
Oh, origami.
Good job.
oregano. What? He said oregano.
He did know.
Yes, as long as you don't get skunked, it's a good day.
Did I get one or two right?
I don't remember.
I know I got one. I think that's all I got right. Shit. Oh, he tied me. Here we go.
All right, last one. Trey, what is a more common name in our country for an item that was originally called an India rubber? When I tell you the answer, you're going to be like, what? Seriously? I didn't know this one, but it's pretty funny with what it actually is.
So it's not going to be like a condom or nothing. So
No, it's nothing
I got
sexual.
you. I know. I got you. Okay, so in India rubber, I'm going to go India rubber. A tire?
No.
Damn it.
An eraser.
Oh, motherfucker.
They were originally called an India rubber.
That's so stupid.
Before we brought it into our country and called it an eraser.
But it makes perfect sense because in England 200 years ago, they wrote in, ready for it? India ink. The same shit you get tatted with.
Yep.
So an India rubber would rub away India ink. Oh my God. That's so fucking stupidly smart. I hate it. I hate it. We're done. I'm leaving. Fuck this.